Rosie.
Rosie. Hello, Rosie. Hello, Rosie. Hello, Rosie. Hello. Hello. Welcome to the Reknit Podcast, episode 3. I'm Emily.
I'm Ros.
And
this is Rosie.
This is Rosie, who will be joining us today for the podcast.
Yeah.
This is episode 3 of our podcast. Thank you very much for watching us. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Elfie McDork.
You can find me on Ravelry as Rosaroo and as Rosarooney on Instagram.
Cool.
Rosie doesn't have any social media.
No, she does not. She doesn't need it because, you know, people just adore her.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I mean, you know, I put her on my social media and she gets all the attention there. So, you know.
So she's generally loved and adored by all.
Yes.
So, you know, this is going to be what the podcast will be today. It's basically going to be around half an hour of just loving Rosie and then that's it.
Before Rosie got here, we did do some knitting and crochet and spinning.
It's true. We thought we wouldn't have very much content, but actually we have quite a bit.
Yes. Well, it's been almost 2 weeks
since
we last recorded.
Because due to technical difficulties, it took me nearly a week to get the last one from recording to actually up on the interweb. Yes. So let's crack on then, shall we?
Yes.
All right. We'll start off with whips. Do you want to go first or shall I?
You can go first.
I can go first. Right. Well, I'll start with the one that I'm actually currently knitting. This is just a vanilla sock. I'm using the leftovers from the sock, the cable sock that I did a few weeks ago, and it is Wish Knits. I hope you can see that. I have no idea. It's the Parker and Penelope colourway. I used most of it for the cabled socks I did a couple of weeks ago, and I had about 40 grams of it left. So I'm doing my first pair of Afterthought heel socks. So I've done a pink cuff. I'm just going to knit until 20 grams is done and put a pink toe on. Do the same again for the other sock and then put a pink heel on both of them. I figured it was the way to use up the yarn, and it's, you know, good for stash dash.
Yes.
Using stuff up. And also I needed like a non-concentrating knitting project to do while we film because, yeah, I just needed a round in circles one that I don't have to pay too much attention to. So that's my first whip. And my second one is one I'd started, I think I just started it when we filmed last time.
Yeah, I remember, you had a cuff.
And I had a cuff, and this is actually the second sock of it. So I've done one sock, and I've just, have I dropped some stitches? No, right. This is the Hermione's Everyday Sock pattern, which is really popular on Ravelry. It's one of their top, most popular ones, I think.
It's a knitty pattern, isn't it?
I couldn't tell you. Possibly. And it's lovely. I'll show you the other sock because the other sock is done, but I don't have my sock blocker with me, so you'll just have to view it as is. But hopefully next week they will be a finished item and I can show them both on the sock blockers.
Yes.
But you can see the sort of bobbly type pattern. I don't know, what would you call it? Like a
texture pattern?
Yeah. Texture pattern, and there's like a nice heel that you do for it too. And it's good because it gives it like almost like a really thick feeling, like it's quite a sturdy sock. And this is knit with the Gingerbread Men sock yarn from Somerset Yarns, and I now know what the correct makeup of the yarn is. It is 75% merino, 20% nylon and 5% stellina. Yeah, so this is a good pattern for this yarn. I've done it on 2mm needles because I'd already knit one sock out of this yarn on 2.5s and it was really loose and I didn't like it, so I pulled it out.
Yes.
And did this one instead, and I'm really, really happy with it. And it's such a good pattern, and it's really easy to do without actually having to look at a pattern or anything, because it's just 3 repeats. It's 3 different rows repeated again and again, but like they're really simple rows. Like one row is like knit, 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 purl, and then it's a row of just knitting, and then it's a knit, purl, knit, knit, and then you just do that repeatedly, and it comes up with this really awesome pattern.
I like the way the sparkle makes it look a little bit magical.
Yeah, I like the sparkle, and I love the colour. And actually, I'm really pleased that I've now found a sock to knit with this yarn because it's been sitting around for a bit. So stash dash, obviously, perfect time.
Yes.
To get a sock done.
Dash all the stash.
I have dashed all of the stash. Yeah, so those are my 2 whips at the moment. That is all I have for whippage.
Okay. I'm working on a sock. Well, I'm kind of in the middle of Well, this isn't the best way to share a sock, really. I should have thought about this before.
Mm.
Oh well. When I'm a more, experienced podcaster, I will know these things. This is another double knit sock. This is from a pair of socks that I had previously knit. So I've ripped back this sock as far as it was knit toe up. Now I'm knitting cuff down. But they were too big, really. I mean, that is quite big there. Because the inside's all fuzzy, don't know if I'll be able to rip back anymore, because where I've walked on it, it's gone all felty. Yes. I think it might be too hard to rip. I would literally be ripping it as I ripped it back out.
Well, you'd end up damaging the yarn, surely, and it wouldn't be nice to then do stuff with.
But yeah, so it's a little bit kinked up because I didn't steam it or anything, because it was really, 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 really hot.
Yes.
When I started pulling this out, there was no way I was going to stand over a kettle full of steam. So yeah, this is just another one of my 2x2 ribbed going into 6x2 ribbed socks. Again on the 3mm higher sharps, tiny circular needles. But yeah, I'm going to be knitting, I think, thicker socks during Stash Dash, because I want to be knitting things with bigger needles, because I feel like that will go faster. And I've got, a lot of meters to go.
Yeah.
So a lot of knitting and spinning needs to happen. So that's work in progress number 1. Number 2 is more squares for my seamless solid granny square blanket. This is more Stylecraft double knit special or special DK, I'm not sure. It's basically just acrylic double knit from Stylecraft, and this is the colour Petrol. And I've actually finished this ball now, so I've got to do 4 more balls of squares, and then I will have all my squares. But I'm thinking though I might get like a cream or something and crochet another round every single one, so that they're all the same.
That'd be nice.
So that when they put them into the blanket, they A, are a bit bigger, and B, well, they'll be like that much bigger all the way around. They are more, like, they've got something that unites them.
Yeah.
So I can just sort of...
It'll define all the colours as well. You'll be able to like see the colours pop out more if you've got like a white.
Yes. So that is work in progress number 2. And my final work in progress.
Have all the works in progress.
I have 3 works in progress. You have 2 works in progress. That's like only one different.
Yeah.
Okay. Still. What happens if like 1 week I have 4 or 5 or something?
Well, this will just be like the knitting show with Ros. I'll sit in the corner.
This is a work in progress that I've been working on since late 2014, I think. I got up to where this stitch marker is, this progress keeper. I've done like this much since this week. This is the Fox Paws pattern by Zandy Peters. It's like Xandy. I think that's how you pronounce it. But it is such a cool way of knitting. You do all these sort of stacked increases and decreases, because at any one time you're only knitting with one colour. It's not colour work. It's just a really, really, really cool way of like making all these amazing shapes in your knitting. It is brilliant. And I'm knitting this out of Knit Picks palette, which I got online from Great British Yarns back in the days when Knit Picks did not post things to you if you lived in Britain, which they now do, so you can buy from them directly. And I've got my 4 balls. This is what I'm hoping Stash Dash will be good for, is using up all of the stash, finishing off all the works in progress. So I've got 4 colours. This is Calypso Heather. This is Asphalt Heather. This is Finley Heather. I don't know why. I don't know what Finley is or why it's called that. This is Marine Heather, and this is just Majestic, because when I was buying it, I forgot to get the heather kind. Or they don't do the heather kind in the Majestic and the heather kind, because these are all slightly, subtly you know, they're not a completely solid colour, whereas this is just kind of solid and flat. But it's a lovely purple, and I do love a lovely purple. And I'm enjoying knitting this, but it is one of those patterns that you have to sit and look at the pattern like the whole time you're knitting it. It's not like wander off, you know, take it in your bag and like knit as you go. But it's so cool. And I've got 7 repeats of the pattern done, and I need to do another 18.
Gosh.
Yeah, but then I'll have almost 1,000 meters. So I'll have like 950 or something, depending on how much of each ball like is left over at the end. I'll have like 900, 950 or something. And I'd already done like 6, so that'll be like 200 maybe meters that I didn't knit during Stash Dash, so that I get to count.
Cool.
Anyway, so you know, that is always good. And then I won't have this like hanging around as a partially finished object. I'll get this needle back, which is a 4mm needle that used to belong to my grandmother, because it's one of the yieldy arrows. That's where a lot of my straight needles come from, is my grandma. You know, she's not missing them, she's dead. It's fine, I've not stolen them. I'm not preventing an old lady from knitting. She, you know, is no longer able to use them, so I can use them instead. So that is all my work.
Is that all your whips?
Yes.
Lovely job. Right, finished objects.
Yes.
I have one, and it's really cool. So I'll show you. Right, let's show the thing first. So last week I was knitting my shawl, my Flippy Floppy Fun shawl. I had to think about that because I've not written it out there. Which is a pattern from Bumblebee Acres, which is free on Ravelry, and it only went up at the beginning of June, so it's quite new. And I was knitting it on Cuddlebums yarn, the little pink rainbow. I don't know if you can see that. I'm waving it around.
Well, they can't see it if you wave it around.
No, exactly. Cuddlebums yarn, little pink rainbow, Cuddlebums sock yarn, and it's done. Finished. Can you hold that end up for me, please? Is that right around?
It's reversible. It's got stitches.
So there it is. It's gorgeous and beautiful. See, Rosie loves it. We'll pop it on her head.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was knit from that corner down, so it was sort of knit on a wonk, as you will. So you start from that way and just keep increasing and increasing and increasing all the way down to the bottom end there. I did a few extra rows on the bottom because the pattern only calls for you to do like a couple of rows to finish off, but I did a whole other like section just so it was a bit of a bigger area at the end of the shawl. Blocked it yesterday, and it's wider than my wingspan, I think. I only have short arms, so that's not a massively good indicator,
Yeah,
but
you're not
it's
very
pretty
tall
huge.
either, so.
And it comes right down to the bottom of my back when I wear it, like as a triangle shawl over my shoulders, and I absolutely love it. What I really like, which I hope you can see, is when you look at it kind of from a bit of a distance, it's sort of pink with just flashes of rainbow. I'm holding it over here, you probably can't see it.
Yeah.
It's pink with like just dashes of rainbow, flashes of like a bright rainbow colour, because the repeat on it is quite short. Actually, can you pass me that bit of rainbow yarn that's by my phone there? Because that happens to have a whole repeat on it.
Yes.
I cut off the end. So the rainbow repeat is actually really tiny. So it's only that long from like red all the way back down to purple and then pink again. So it's more of like a flash of colour rather than a big stripe. And it just happens that at the very end, on the very end line that I did, the rainbow just happened to match up with each other. It just got to the right length where it would, where is it? It's there. Where I ended up with 2 big blocks of rainbow where they all matched up, which was pretty cool. But yeah, I love it. So that's the Flippy Floppy Fun shawl from Bumblebee Acres, and it's awesome. And it's the first shawl I've made for me.
Yay.
I've made other shawls for other people in heavier yarn.
You started another shawl for you.
I started another shawl for you, but that's going to be finished in about 2020 probably.
Yeah.
So blocking that is going to be hilarious because it's going to be about the size of a living room.
Wow.
So yeah,
as long as there isn't a dog to walk on it, we can.
it's true. So that is my only finished object, but I have now also finally counted up my stash amount, including this and all the other socks that I've shown for the last couple of weeks that I just had never got round to. So, including I think it was 3 pairs of socks, because it was the pink one, the yarn chop day one, and the one that's like this, the cabled ones like this. So, and altogether my total yardage is 1,164 metres and 30 centimetres currently, and I'm going for the 7k goal because I'm not a crazy person.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's my goal. I'm thinking the other shawl that I showed a couple of weeks ago that I haven't really worked on very much at the moment. I don't know if I'm going to end up using all of the yarn for that by the end of Stash Dash. So I think I'll get to the end of Stash Dash and just cast it off wherever I happen to be, and then count whatever I used. Because I really want to count it for Stash Dash. And also by that point I will be so done with that shawl. I'll just be like, I don't care, we're finishing now, I'm going to wear it, done.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be the plan.
You could always, is it on a circular needle at the moment?
No.
You could always put it onto a circular needle, and you know, you got those connectors. And then you could see how big it was.
Maybe. I'll think about it.
Yeah.
Either way.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
Okay.
So that's my only finished object, but I'm really, really chuffed with it. So,
it's so pretty. And
it is, and it's nice and summery. It's really light.
Yeah. Well, it's got, you know, massive, great big holes.
Yeah, and it's a really lovely, nice, light sock yarn. Yes. So yeah, I'm very, very chuffed with that. Just in time for Pride as well.
Yeah.
Da, da, da. My Pride shawl.
Oh,
let's pop that there.
Lovely.
And that's my only finished object at the moment because it is because it's been hot as all flip. That's why.
Yes, I did.
And I spent about half a week just lying in bed with a fan on my face, going, I'm not going to touch any wool because I will probably burst into flames. Yes. So I didn't do a whole lot of knitting for the few days during the week where it was so hot that leaving the house was just not a viable option. Yeah. Or knitting, or doing anything that involved touching anything at all.
Or moving.
Yeah.
You know.
Or not being within about a foot of a fan that's blowing in your face. Yeah. Yeah. Lying down and trying not to move in a dark room. Yeah. Which is not conducive to, you know, a lot of knitting. No. But yeah. It's cooled down now. Yeah. So we're back on the game. Yeah. Right.
Back on the game.
Back on the knitting game.
My mother is watching this. Yeah. I'm not on the game. I'm not a prostitute.
She's a whore for yarn.
Oh dear.
Right, Layla,
I've
what
got
are your finished
4
objects?
finished objects, but they're all tiny, so you know.
Would you like a hand? Would you like me to model?
Yes.
I'll be your glamorous assistant for this one.
Glamorous assistant who calls me a prostitute.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, sex worker. These are loads of little 4 little cotton bud pots to put cotton buds in by the side of your bed. These 2 are going to go to M's.
Because they match.
Yeah. So we can have one on each side. And then you can have them now because I've shown them on the podcast. I wouldn't
I can take them with me now.
Yeah, I wouldn't let her have them until I show them on the podcast. But yeah, they're going to put cotton buds in. And that one is for here on your side of the bed because I've already got one. And this, I don't know. I've just got a spare one. Because I had a load of little bits of cotton, which is why these ones are stripy. Because they're using up all the colours that were left over. I had about, well, they turned out to be 52 grams of various colours of Stylecraft Classique, that's with a Q, Cotton DK. So I crocheted them with my 4mm crochet hook, and they turned out to be 94. Oh, they're like little crazy figure.
Think of puppets.
94 meters and 64 centimeters for Stash Dash, which isn't a huge amount, but they were reasonably quick. And this has now used up. I haven't got any bits of like cotton hanging around. Not double knit cotton anyway. I think I've got like most of a ball of worsted cotton that's American that I bought. Well, I think Mum was buying some stuff and wanted to get free postage. So I said, oh, can I have a ball of that? And that will like get it up above the free postage.
Yeah.
So they're a pattern from Simply Crochet Issue 3. I subscribed to Simply Crochet. I initially subscribed because they had like 3 issues for £3 or something. But it is the cotton bud pot. So you can see what it looks like with cotton buds in case you couldn't imagine it for yourself when I was holding them up. So this is from, I think, April 2013. So I subscribed for about 6 months. because I forgot to cancel. Well, it's quite a good magazine, but I don't crochet that much, so I didn't get a lot of use out of it. So but it was pretty, and I got like some, you know, my little tape measure with the cat. That was from them.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It came with a free gift every month, which was nice. Well, it wasn't really free because it was included in the price, but you know, I like it when magazines come with a thing on the front.
Yeah.
Like, ooh, a thing.
Yeah.
Because I'm, you know, basic.
Well, I always used to like it when the Beano came with something on the front. And I used to get the Beano.
Yeah.
Like, did you like a drumstick lolly?
Yeah.
Or something really noisy, like a whistle, that would annoy my parents for the rest of the week?
Yeah, I used to get the dandy, and I used to like it when there were sweets.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it meant you got extra sweets on your Saturday pocket money day.
Yeah.
As well as the stuff you could buy with your money. You also got like an extra chew-it or something on the front of the Beano.
Right, so those are my finished objects. My 4 tiny, tiny objects. And they took me up to 1,832 metres and 19 centimetres for stash dash. But, as you'll see in a minute, I'm way past that now.
Yeah.
Because spinning. Are you going to do stash enhancements?
I'll do my stash enhancements, yes. Right, so,
Show how you've enhanced.
couple of things for stash enhancements. First, a couple of really exciting things. I'm really chuffed about both of these. So the first one is I have some Stranded Dyeworks yarn. I'm so excited. So Stranded Dyeworks is run by Amy Florence, and she is a podcaster, brilliant podcaster, and she dyes the most fantastic yarn. She's got a business that is getting huger by the day. She's vending at SSK this year. She's done a couple of trunk shows, one in Bristol, one in Brighton. She's going to Pomfest. So you will have heard of her, chances are. If you haven't, I recommend looking at her Etsy store and definitely subscribing to her podcast because she's awesome. Yeah. And when she does her Etsy store updates, stuff goes like really fast. So it's one of those you need to be there at the time to press the button because stuff flies. And I really wanted some of her sock yarn, and she has this gorgeous colour aptly called Scorcher, which I feel is very appropriate for you know what the last couple of weeks have been like. And this is 75/25 superwash merino nylon, 425 meters, and it's gorgeous. And it'll probably be socks, I imagine, because it's lovely and soft. It's just beautiful, and it's a lovely sort of there's bright oranges and yellows and some sort of peachy colours in there too, and a few flecks of sort of some darker colours, a little bit of brown. But I have wanted to get some of her yarn for ages, and so I'm really chuffed now that I have a skein of her yarn. Yes. I'm really, really pleased. So I'm so excited to start doing something with this, and hopefully, probably making a really nice pair of socks. After doing the Parker and Penelope socks, like getting that nice sock yarn and making it into a really nice pair of cabled socks, I want to do something similar with this. I think like if I get really nice fancy sock yarn, I want to try to make it something really pretty rather than just sort of a plain vanilla socks.
You want fancy socks, you got fancy.
Well, you've got to make fancy socks, and so like the cables were really nice on the last one, and they just looked really lovely. So fancy socks with fancy yarn. So yes, that's on her Oasis fingering weight base. As I say, her stuff is really fantastic. She does some beautiful yarn, and her podcast is wonderful. So
I've just got why she's called Stranded, and but her bases are called like
Oasis,
Paradise, Castaway. It's all like
it's all like
it's a poem.
It's a, stranded, like on an island.
Yeah, but also like strands of
Well done. How many months has that taken you to figure that one out?
I don't know how long ago.
So, anyway, Stranded. Now, the next thing is fantastic. So, a bit of background. A couple of weeks ago, it was my birthday, and I saw my family over my birthday weekend, and my brother came over from London to stay the weekend, and he bought me a birthday present. And he is a huge Doctor Who fan, as am I. I mean, he's a Doctor Who fan to sort of epic proportions, but I'm also a very big Doctor Who fan. And he found online this little beauty. Now, this is a Doctor Who pattern book, and it is from 1984, I think. Let me have a look. I think it's 1984.
Wait, it's almost as old as Emily.
It's almost as old as me. It's a few years older than you.
Yeah. I'm still in my 20s.
So this, for those of you who are Doctor Who fans, of which I'm sure there are lots of you, because this is 1984, obviously this only goes up to, I think it's Peter David Davison was the doctor then, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think it's Peter Davison who's the doctor then. Someone will tell me if I'm wrong. I will, yeah, everyone will tell me if I'm wrong. So obviously it only covers up to then, because it's 1984. And my brother said he ordered the book for me off eBay, I think, or something like that. And he said the book, obviously he ordered the book because it was a really like a cool book. But the bonus are the wonderful photographs that you get in the book, which are a mixture of kind of hilarious, mildly terrifying, and slightly confusing. So, I'm going to start off by just showing you this beauty. I hope you can see it. So this is an interesting Doctor Who jumper, modelled by a guy with an interesting moustache who apparently is standing on a digger for reasons I am not entirely sure of. But all the patterns in this book are along those wonderful 80s sort of vibe, if you like. And I have to be a bit careful with what I show because apparently my brother says that a lot of these patterns were put up on Ravelry. I'm me and my brother knows what Ravelry is.
Yeah.
But he said apparently a lot of these patterns were put up on Ravelry as free patterns and taken down by the BBC saying no, it's copyright, you can't put them up.
All right, so you can show the photos.
So I can show the photos, but I can't show the patterns because we'll get into trouble. So apparently there's been like a big thing about like you can't let the patterns out for free because la la la. Anyway, so it has some sewing projects in and it has quite a few knitting projects. Here's another. Let's see if you can. I need something to put in front of it, really, don't I? That's all right. I'll put the dog in front of it. There we go. So here's another woman in a lovely top. As it's very much of the time. But I'm pretty sure my brother's going to get a Christmas jumper out of this, or one of them. And actually, there's some sewing projects in there as well. So there's K9, that's a sewn K9.
Sew your own
and
K9.
A couple of the TARDIS ones are really nice. There's a wonderful TARDIS quilt that actually looks really cool. Which is, I don't know how well you can see it, but it's that one there. What I'll do, if I find out that you can't actually see any of the pictures that I'm showing, I will take photographs, pictures of them, and insert photographs in. So if for whatever reason you couldn't see any of what I've just shown, then there'll be photos over the top so you can see what I'm talking about.
Because we're using a different camera to record this week, and there's no screen on the front, so we're just looking.
So yes, this is a brilliant book. I'm gonna definitely try and make some things out of it. I mean, it's very much of its time. It also handily shows you how to make Doctor Who outfits for all your collection of action men. So that's nice. But yes, that was a pretty awesome find, and I will definitely be making some stuff out of that. So good work, my brother, for excellent birthday presenting.
Oh, that is now.
Oh, that's
okay.
And that's all my stash enhancements. But you don't have any stash enhancements.
No,
because you're not allowed. But you do have some spinning because you have a wheel.
I do. So that's fun for me. And good for my stash.
It is.
Right, so this is my first finished spinning. This is a big skein and a mini skein of the Ryeland that I got from the farmer at, well, a farmer. There was possibly more than one farmer there.
Probably.
At the Cirencester Fleece Fair, and this has become some 3-ply. It was going to be socks. Well, I tried to spin it into a sock weight, and that didn't really happen. I mean, there are parts of it that are sock weight, but there are parts of it that are also double knit, so I might try knitting it as socks. Can you see? Yeah. I don't know whether you can see or not. Hopefully.
No idea.
Yeah, I'm just shoving this up to the lens and hoping it works out. But yeah, we'll see when we look back at it. Well, you'll see when you edit it.
I will.
Yeah. It's not hugely even, or it's quite twisty, and well, that's good for socks. I might just try knitting it either on 2.5mm or 3mm, and just seeing whether it looks nice as socks or whether it becomes a bit bulletproof at 2.5mm. But I've only got 233 meters, 48 centimeters. So That's out of the 2 skeins. So I don't know whether that, well, it should be enough for a short pair of socks.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know whether it was the fibre, like the actual Ryeland itself, whether it was the way it was prepared. Wasn't really what I need to spin sock weight wool, but it didn't turn out, you know, as intended. But I'm not the best spinner in the world, so it could well be my fault. But anyway, that is, because you get to count each individual ply, that's 700 metres and 44 centimetres for stash.
Hey.
I know. And so it's done, it's finished, it's off the wheel, it's no longer, you know, bothering me. And then these 3 little ones are altogether 50 grams. Oh, that was 100 grams, the Ryeland lambswool. These are some, I showed them last time, the rainbow rolags from Alternate Universe. I've now spun them all up. This is 3 rolags, 3 plied together.
That's very pretty.
And it goes, well, it starts off at red, goes to yellow, which is mostly with red. Don't know. Oh, there's a little bit of yellow. Then a light green, a dark green, and then a purple. So there's no blue in this rainbow. But it's very sort of, it's got a shiny, yeah, it's got a sort of sheen from the nylon, I think, or the bamboo. It's 5% Welsh wool, 50% Shetland wool, 20% bamboo and 25% nylon. So it's sort of just over half wool, just under half not wool. So it should be fairly strong and not too, it's got a bit of bounce, not a lot. And this is 204 metres. No, 202 metres and 40 centimetres, sorry. And this is, I showed last time, this is the chain ply of 1 rolag. And this is like the last little bit of chain ply.
The tiniest skein there ever was.
Little tiny baby skein. That's just 8 metres by itself. But that counts as 607 metres and 20 centimetres for stash dash, which brings my total to 3,139 metres, 83 centimetres.
It kind of felt like you were announcing like the money raised on Children in Need. Our total for tonight is...
I know, but I've still got like, I think maybe 8 weeks of stash dash to go. There's going to be a whole lot of metres in my crochet blanket.
Yeah.
And there's going to have to be a whole lot more spinning because I've got like 12,000 metres to go. So that's, yeah. Things need to get a bit busy with the spinning. And they're not spinning. This is really, really pretty.
What will you use it for?
I think I'm going to spin either a solid colour or just some plain natural wool and stripe them together. I think possibly a shawl of some kind.
Cool.
Maybe because you've got like a lightweight rainbow shawl, maybe I can have like a part rainbow shawl. Because it's only 50 grams, so it's not really enough to knit anything substantial by itself. But it's so pretty.
It is. And
this was so much more fun to spin, and it's, you know, it's a sort of genuine sock thickness rather than like
it reminds me of like Harry Potter colours.
Yeah, it does a little bit.
Because it's got like the goldy yellow and the scarlety red, and that's quite a bluey purple, like a dark bluey purple, and then the green is kind of foresty green.
Slytherin-y, yeah.
It's a Harry Pottery type.
I don't know what Kim was thinking, because this is from Alternate Universe. I don't know. It's handmade rolags. I don't know what the inspiration was for Kim when she was making these, but she does do like Harry Potter bags and Harry Potter badges.
So much Harry Potter stuff.
She's definitely a Harry Potter fan.
We will be visiting her store in person, hopefully, in the next few weeks. Yes. After I've bought my wheel.
Yes.
Exciting.
We'll have a day trip out to Clevedon and Cleve to buy your wheel and then spinning things.
Yeah, we will have all those to show in the next, like in a few weeks' time when I finally manage to go and get all my stuff that I've been saving up for ages. Yeah. I'm so excited.
I might have some stash enhancement because, you know, I can buy not yarn because she sells, you know, spinning stuff.
It's true. So that's pretty exciting.
That is very exciting, and I'm you know, The Ryeland kind of sucked a little bit of the joy out of spinning for me, but I think maybe because this is all, you know, colourful as well.
Yeah, it's pretty.
And yeah. There was, you know, very little, there was no vegetable matter in it, very little chemical.
Yeah.
Weirdly, the green, the dark green, was like quite kempy, but the rest of it, well, not quite kempy, but comparatively to the other bits, like, I don't think there was kemp in much of the rest of it, but then dark green. Oh, let's pick all the kemp out. So maybe like it was from the dark green stuff came from an older sheep.
A dark green sheep.
No, I think they probably dyed it.
Do you reckon?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think sheep come in any of these.
Do they
colours.
not? How upsetting.
No. But yeah, I'm really pleased with this.
Lovely.
And I'm pleased with how many meters I got from 50 grams. Because that's like proper sock weight. Like 400 meters for 100 grams. It would have been if I'd had 100 grams. But I didn't. But you know, whereas with the Ryeland I got like sort of double knit sport number of meters from 100 grams. No one can make so.
Oh well.
I'm so sad. No, I'm not. It's fine really. It's all yarn and it counts for stash dash, and if I knit it up it counts for stash dash again.
I know.
So, you know.
Cool.
I think, is that
Is that
okay? Yeah.
Lovely job. Well, hopefully this episode will go a little more swiftly than the last one did.
Yes.
Hence the change of setup to film.
Yes.
We're now filming on a camera rather than an iPad. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens. Hopefully it'll be a little bit easier.
Yeah. Hopefully all the stuff we've shown was actually in the frame.
Yeah. It'll be like a fun adventure
Yes.
editing this.
Yes.
It could be chaos. It could be a nightmare. So
Yeah, you could be like texting me, I need a photo of everything
Yes.
you showed in the podcast.
absolutely. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty
Yeah.
much it, I think.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for watching.
Yes.
I don't think you can see Rosie now because she's led right down, and so I
Yeah.
think she might be out of the frame. But she's still there, and she's been exceptionally well behaved.
She's been so well behaved. I'm so impressed.
Yes.
Normally, you know, something happens and she's got to go and look out the window.
Yeah.
Or the dog next door barks and she's got to bark back at him.
But she's happily snoozing
Yes.
between her favourite ladies.
yeah, so she's, you know, she'll have a nice walk this afternoon as a reward. Possibly one of
Yes.
those salmon treat things.
Ooh. So
yeah, we will spoil the dog appropriately.
yeah. So thank you so much for watching.
Yes.
And from both of us and the small floofy dog.
Yes.
Well, we will see you next time. She won't, but
No.
we will.
Bye.